Hey everyone, Liquid Proust here. I wanted to do something a little bit unique for the first non-club video that I've got on YouTube here. And essentially what that's going to be is maybe a series of me just unwrapping cakes on a nice visual. I know for myself, I can't stop watching cake unwrappings. When I look at a picture of tea leaf compressed into cakes, I highly enjoy it. So I'm going to unwrap this, just showcase it a little bit, and probably start the first brew here. This is the 2008 Xiaguan Tianshan. So this is one of the cakes that I brought into my shop for the fall and winter drinking. This is going to be a everyday drink because at the price of $42 for 357 grams, it's that daily drinking price range. So this cake's a little bit unique, and I'll show you why here. I'm actually going to do something that I wouldn't recommend, but I'm going to put the wrapper aside just for a moment because I don't want to stab into it when I'm breaking this cake up. So I got some sunlight coming through. There, you'll see a fun little bing hole. I will talk in regards in depth to that with the factories and who presses all the tea. And then this is the front side. So what I'm going to do, this is my cake here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in and open up a piece of this cake from the back side because I like to pick from the bing hole simply because I want to always be able to see this. To me, this is a beautiful cake. I get to see all the leaf here. It is compressed rather hard. You can see almost that iron level pressing. It's just a little bit thicker. If this had less weight, this would be completely iron. But I will tell you from breaking up a few of these already, I have found that the pressing of it and the leaf itself over this time period isn't as hard as you would think. I could take this cake right now and snap it in half. I'm not going to do that because aesthetically that wouldn't be the most appealing thing. But if I was to break this up, I would do that. Today I'm using an actual Xiaguan branded pick. These are pretty massive. Compared to the regular size ones, this is a big guy. So the way that I'm going to pick into it, I'm going to try to elevate it here. Normally I'd be pressing down. And I'm going to go in from the bing, and I'm going to go outwards here. I'm going to try to pick that way, and I'm going to keep the bing hole intact. And then ultimately, this will be a different piece that I'll utilize for a different reason later. And by doing it this way, I keep this side here looking as beautiful as it is for a longer period of time. It's also a lot easier to wrap than if I take these edges off and start picking through. I want to keep that round style of cake. So my goal is to go in, I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to try to pick up and pry out and get myself a nice chunk of tea here. I actually don't need much because the pot that I'm using today is really small. Now me by holding this at the angle I am is probably not the smartest because I'm going to flick tea over here. That's probably about all I need right here. Just like that. I'm going to have to put this down. I'm going to pry up. This is all the tea I'll need for the pot that I have. Xiaguan's pretty compressed. So you see I actually pushed a little bit through on there. That's my fault. So I'm going to take that material and grab my wrapper again. Now when you see how these are wrapped, it's a pretty unique way. So the way they did these was like this, and then it's like squished like this. You'll see it if you get one of these cakes. It's a little bit different than going all around. I'm going to put this to the side, and this is all the leaf that I'll use. It's going to fall. Today we got the smaller Corian pot here. And I'm just going to go through the flash, the rinse, and then the first steep. Got some leaf on the side there. I'm using two smaller porcelain cups today because I really enjoy having the flail out here so I can sip it immediately or a little bit quicker than normal. I'm not using anything to actually catch all this, so no strainer, so it means I'm going to have some chunks, and I'm completely okay with that. Xiaguan's probably not the best stuff that you'd want to have chunks with, but This is my daily drinker stuff. I want to get to know it for every attribute that it has. This is the first time that I'll have it in Porion. I've been drinking it in more porcelain to get all the notes rather than to potentially mute any in the background there. So during this period of time, I'm letting the steam on the inside of the pot and the leaf kind of just expand and break apart from one another. If you saw the cake itself, even though it looks pretty compressed when I broke it off, the leaf actually wasn't all that hard. I do have some that flew around, and that's because I was holding it up. You probably won't have that problem if you do that. One of my hairs got in that pot. I wonder if you guys could see that. Now everybody's going to brew this differently. For me, right there, it's going to extract enough flavor to make me more than happy. I'm not going to fill these cups all the way. And just like that, I now have my first steep of this Xiaguan cake that I actually admire. It's kind of fun because when you have an iron cake, you could just snap and you can see all the lining of the leaf. It is a nice cake. It's an inexpensive cake. I think it's going to gel very well with autumn taste. But overall, I'm quite pleased with it. I've got quite a few. So with that, these cups being as small as they are, and the tulip cup side that it is, comes right out, allows the liquid to cool off a little bit quicker. And as simple as that. So I'm curious, if I were just to open up cakes, give you an initial what it looks like, how it breaks, potentially what pot I use, the color of the liquid, is that going to be appealing for everybody? And then have a more in-depth session when I am drinking through it. Like right now, this tea hasn't fully opened up, but I could tell you there's almost this sour fruit note in the back, kind of like a plum, but not necessarily a full-on plum. And then you've got minerality going on completely. And that minerality is playing off of like the house Xiaguan smoke. That honestly isn't a forefront flavor. And then potentially a sweetness that's returning in the mouth, right? So that Xiaguan that you're getting, even probably 30 seconds after, still here, licking probably the outside, the innard side of my lip and then my teeth. And a little bit of a drying sensation in the mouth from the first steep here. A nice gulp on this. I'm not sure if you guys can even hear that, but it's not like it's a thin liquid. As it goes down, it's a little playful. Now you can see it's quite a bit darker now. That's on the second steep here. This tea is probably fully alive on this second steep, honestly. After playing with it a few times, I found that it's not compressed, even though it is pressed that way. When you're picking the leaf out, you're getting full interaction with the leaf and the water here. So it is fully broken up at this point. And inside here, there's nothing that's, pressed against anything else. It's just full on leaf interacting with the water, and you're getting an extraction right from the get-go. Yeah, see all that? Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And then we'll see, if the second steep here has any of that sweetness that's coming back. So now you've got, honestly, this is probably more of a herbal tobacco background taste, really playing off of some of the light bitterness going on from the upfront, and then just a taste that doesn't go away. And it's still like a sour fruit, but then that strong minerality, and now we've got that tobacco taste coming in. So it's complex, right? But it's not like a deep complexity. It's a complexity that you would get from your blended material and a type of Xiaguan cake that doesn't cost that much, that as you drink through it, you get to know it a little bit more and understand, do I use boiling? Do I use 95? Am I brewing it 10 seconds? Am I brewing it 15, 20? Am I doing, 1 gram per 10 milliliters, or am I doing 2, right? So there's a lot to play off of this, and at the price point, you get to have a lot of goes at it, which is one of my favorite parts, because this right here is actually stronger than when I initially brewed it, but I was using a larger pot. Now at 85 milliliters, probably with about 6 or 7 grams in there, I'm getting a stronger brew up front on that second brew. And I really like that, because that sour fruit aspect playing off of the tobacco notes is very enjoyable for somebody like myself, just based off of the things that I eat and the things that I have that are outside of tea. This is splendid. The only part about it right now that would maybe be a little undesirable is that probably about 20 to 30 seconds after you have the liquid in your mouth, you have like an astringency note that kind of makes your mouth feel a little dry. So if you're not somebody who's going to drink fast, you are going to have a full mouthful of kind of like that war zone that I would call of this, tobacco-ish taste, that sour plumish taste, and there's a component of minerality that I can't specifically define on which mineral it would really lead me towards, but you could definitely taste that as well. So a lot of great things going on with this, and I would look forward to hearing what anybody else says, and I'm curious if this style of just a short kind of quick synopsis, opening the cake, kind of the visualization, and just short brief notes, like a spark note edition of the tea is welcomed for things that I release. I could probably put these together, not take too much out of my time. But please let me know. I hope you guys have enjoyed this here. I'll go ahead and get my next brew ready. And then I'll cut the video from there. I don't really want to create too long of videos. Some people have asked me for those. And there's possible that I will create something and maybe attach like a PowerPoint with photos and different things that I can incorporate to the video using an editor. But as for right now, I think the settings that I've got where it's the least amount of maintenance, where I don't even review the videos I have, I just kind of record them and put them up there. You guys just get what it is probably how I'm going to do it for a while. But I would like to know everyone's thoughts. From there, I just want to get some steam going because I love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I look forward to hearing what everybody lets me know and how this went for you all. Especially how the lighting went, because it looks a little crazy. I think this should be right here. Ooh, that's a hard fit. I think that's how it should be. Yeah. All right, hope you guys all have a nice weekend here. Take care.